I'm gonna like warn y'all right now, like if y'all don't want to talk about blood, this video is not for you because that's the next stages of the story. Hey everyone, it's Mel and welcome back to my channel. And if you're new to my channel, welcome to the app. In today's video, I will be giving you guys a life update of where have I been, what's been going on, what has transpired in 2020, and now we're in 2021. Girl, we've been gone for a whole year. I can't even believe it's been that long. That's crazy. But a lot has happened, and I'm here to share with you guys my story, my testimony, etc., etc. So before we even get started with today's video, be sure to subscribe to my channel, click on that notification bell so you can be updated whenever I upload a new video, because she is a me and we are back. Okay? Period. Anyways, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and let's just get right into the video. Where have you been, Mel? What happened, sis? If you follow me on Instagram or if you're a close friend, then you kind of already have a general idea of what took place, but I guess I'm gonna go into more detail. Back in 2020, I will say the beginning, I went to the doctor probably in January. And the reason why I went to the doctor is because a lot of my hair was falling out every wash date. And I'm talking about clumps, like a handful of hair. And my mom told me, like, something's wrong. Like, all your hair is falling out. There's something wrong. I was getting bald spots. And if you go back to my videos, I started slowly dying down with filming natural hair videos because of that. And so in January, I think late January of 2020, I went to the doctors. And then I got a phone call in February about my lab work. So I got lab work done in January, got a phone call in February, and the nurse called me and was like, what did he say? He was like, we got your results back. We want you to come in soon, y'all. They wanted me to come in soon, but I had to see a hematologist. I was like, I gotta see a hematologist. When I heard that, girl, I was like, wait. So the next time I went to the doctor was to see a hematologist. He basically, I asked him, is it serious? He was saying, yes, it's serious. But he was like beating around the bush. So I was like, okay. I was like, he started naming what it could possibly be, but he didn't name cancer. So I was like, could it possibly be cancer? He said, yes, it could possibly be cancer. Miss me. As soon as he said that, I started like legit bawling in the car. At that time, I was driving to Orlando to meet up with a friend so I can go look for a job. Because at that time, if y'all remember, your girl didn't have no job. So literally, I walked up into his apartment. He was just like, because I was legit in tears. I was crying. He never seen me cry or anything. And guys, like, when they see women cry, like, either they ignore you or they really do not know what to do. And I didn't want to tell him because I didn't know for sure what was going on. So anyways, fast forward, my appointment for my hematologist was in March. So I had to wait a whole month to find out what was going on with me. When I see my hematologist, he basically told me that I had a low platelet count, but it wasn't cancer. Like, he cleared that up in the in the beginning. He cleared that up. He was like, it's not cancer, but you have a low platelet count. And so he went into detail with everything. Pretty much told me that I have Immuno Thrombocytopenia with a connective tissue disorder. So I guess all of it just correlates together. So your girl has two different diseases, or I got two different diagnoses, but I still have it right now as we speak. And so when he told me what, I looked at him like, immunothrombocytopenia, like, what is that? So he basically said that my immune system is attacking my good platelet cells, and you need your platelet cells in order to survive. So if you get into a car accident or if you get a cut, Like, okay, a good example is if you get a cut and you know how like you can press it and then it stops bleeding, or you like see little, blood clots. Those blood clots are your platelets that are forming to make you stop bleeding. Pretty much he told me my platelet count was low, so if I were to get cut, girl, I would just keep bleeding out, okay? And he pretty much started to explain what my connective tissue disorder was. He was like, you have something very rare, because it has no name. Like, my connective tissue disorder is called connective tissue disorder. Like, there's no name for it. He said that it was borderline lupus, but it's not lupus, and I had no symptoms of lupus at all. So when he told me all of this, I was like, okay. I was looking at him like, so what we gonna do? And I wasn't emotional or anything in the doctor's office, because he made me feel very comfortable, and it was more of like, let's figure out what we can do to, help you maintain, your diagnosis and everything. When I found everything out, he put me on a medication called prednisone, and prednisone is a steroid, and he put me on a small dosage that I had to take twice a day. Now, mind you, remember, I said that I got diagnosed and I seen the hematologist in March 7th. Boom, boom, bam, bam. COVID came around. Everything got shut down. So with prednisone, you can't be on that medication for long. So I think I seen him right before COVID happened, or right before they completely shut everything down. And he basically told me how he wanted me to take the medication, and I had to slowly wean off of it. So I took it we were in March. I took it for the remainder of March, and then I started weaning off of it in April. And then I believe I was completely off of it in May. So here's when the story gets really juicy, okay? Nothing really opened back up started to open up a little bit until like mid-May. So I'm going to like warn y'all right now, like, if y'all don't want to talk about blood, this video is not for you, because that's the next stages of the story. I don't want it to be too graphic or anything, but I also want to explain the in-depth what happened to me, because it's my story and I'm actually excited to talk about it, or I'm happy to tell the story. So pretty much, I want to say a little bit before May, I was going hard with content, because again, I didn't have a job, so my focus was YouTube, Instagram, all that. And I was getting ready for Haitian Heritage Month, because my plan was to my plan was to have 18 days of content leading up until Haitian Flag Day. And then, I don't know if you guys know Maddie James, but she had like I think a consistency challenge where you have to pretty much post a picture every single day. Not just a picture, but post something every single day on Instagram, hashtag it, and then I guess whoever was detailed in the description, or like your caption and your picture and all that stuff, you won a prize. So if y'all know me, I'm competitive, and I was like, oh, perfect. I was already going to do 18 days, but I guess I'll do the full 31 days or 30 days, however many days was in May. So I had a lot of my content created, or took my pictures like a few weeks before I had to start posting every single day. So in the midst of posting every single day, I was actually still filming videos and everything like that, and still creating content, and I could feel a difference in my body, because at that point I was completely off the prednisone, and I felt more fatigue. And around that time too, I was working out a lot, and I remember I could not get through one workout, and that's when I knew something was wrong. I was like, I can't get through this workout. Like, I just felt very, very fatigued. I felt very tired, but I didn't know what was going on. So that was like strike number one right there, right? Then after that, the next sign was like, I started getting these little petechiae on my body, but it was like one here, one there. A petechiae is like a mini like blood clot, or like spots on your body. I don't even know how to explain it, but I started getting spots on my body, in certain areas. I had one day I just woke up, I had it on my chest, and then around that time I had already completed like videos and pictures and stuff like that, so I had just completely stopped. I remember going on Instagram story and saying I'm not feeling well, there's not gonna be a video this week. Girl, the day I said that, the next day we were in the hospital, okay? Or 2 days later. And I remember I just had a bloody nose out of nowhere. Like, my nose just started bleeding. And I'm like, okay, it was my first time this ever happened. I never had a nosebleed before in my life. So I was confused. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, I've been around a few people who've had nosebleeds. Let me do the same thing that they've done. So I took a piece of paper, stuck it in my nose, put my head up, back or whatever, chilling. Did that for like 15 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, took the paper out. My nose was still bleeding. I was like, wait. And so that night, I think I slept with the tissue in my nose and woke up, it stopped. So I'm like, okay. Then the following day from that, I woke up and I had like little specks in my mouth, and I was confused. But they weren't hurting or anything. So I was like, and they were very, very small. And then I believe that same day, Miss Auntie Flo came to town. Sis said, hey, how you doing? I'm here. So I was like, as a female, you just think, maybe that's why I've been so fatigued. Maybe that's why I didn't get through my workout. But I was like, even if my period's about to come, I'm still going to finish the workout. So still question that. I remember that specific night, my homeboy and my other homeboy, but to me he's more like my brother, they both called me and they wanted to do something, whatever, and they were checking on me, making sure I was okay, because around that time I did say I wasn't feeling well. So after getting off the phone with them, I seen that my flow was like really, really heavy. So I was like, this is interesting. However, like being on the prednisone, my flow did change. So I was like, maybe because it changed, it's changing again because I was no longer on the prednisone. So that was the only thing that made sense to me. I changed, did whatever I had to do, went to sleep. Girl, the next morning I woke up, I was drenched. Okay? Drenched. Now, I forgot to mention I had made an appointment to go see the doctor because, like I said, my nose was bleeding and I had little spots like all over my mouth, and I sent him pictures. My hematologist, I sent him pictures, so he was like, okay, come into the office. So the next day, I got up, I went to the shower, I went to go take a shower, and when I tell you I was in Sizzy Small, like, when I tell you I was in shock, I was shook. It like literally just blood, just. I'm sorry to like be graphic, but like women know, like when you have your period, you get into the water, your period, it stops. Like it's chilling right now because there's water there. I don't know what it is. That's just what it is. Like you're not flowing as you would if you weren't in water, pretty much. And I'm just looking at the floor like, and I don't know why, but I didn't think that the blood was coming out of a different area. I just thought it was my period, and it was a weird one. That's what I thought. So once I changed, like I took a shower, I went to put on my clothes, and I sat down, and when I got up, there was blood. So I was like, okay, I can't wear this. So I changed, and then I was like, okay, I'll bring a towel with me in the car because I don't want to get blood in the car. So my brother brings me to my appointment. I get to the doctor. He says, I need you to go get your labs done so we can see what's going on. He was like, I think this is happening because we weren't able to track anything while you were on the medication, and now that you're off of it, we weren't able to track anything. So he made me go get my lab done, or he was going to make me go get my lab done or whatever. So I'm like, all right, cool. This specific day was May 22nd. I won't forget it because 22 is my favorite number. So I get back into the Marcus's car. I get up. The towel is drenched. He looks at me, my brother. He looks at me. He goes, you sure you're okay? And I was like, I feel fine. Like, I felt fine. So as soon as I get home, I go to the bathroom and I'm just still in disbelief because it's just that much blood. So then I graphic, if you don't want to hear this, just skip along. But normally as a woman, when you wipe from the back, not the front. So I decided I'm gonna wipe from the front because I needed to know like what's going on. So I wiped with the wipe first, got very clean in that area, and was like, all right, let's see. I wiped, blood all on the tissue. I said I'm peeing blood. So that's when it clicked. I'm on my period and I'm bleeding through my urinary tract. So sorry y'all. Just to think about, like, that part for me was the most I'd say dramatic, or like, because I was just in shock. I was in disbelief. I didn't know what was going on. This has never happened to me before. So girl, at that point, I don't know why that specific day, but my mom came home early. When she came home, she came straight into the bathroom and she was like, when she saw the blood, she was like, oh nah, we're going to the hospital. And so at that point, I started crying because I'm like, I don't have a job. How are we going to pay for the medical bill? Blah, 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 blah. Like, just, you know, that typical child who is like not trying to burden their parent. And that's pretty much, I just broke down. Plus I'm on my period, so we super emotional at this point. And then my mom, she rushes. She like, my mom is one of them people, like, if something's going on, she's going to pull it together and make stuff shake, okay? So I got out. I took another shower because I couldn't, y'all. I took another shower, and while I was taking a shower, this area started hurting. So I was like, oh snap, my kidneys. That's all I could say. Like I was in pain at that point. So my mom was like, let's go. I think you lost too much blood. We go to the hospital, and we get there. Then the nurse is like, okay, say bye to your mom. I said, say bye to her for what? Oh, due to COVID, you know. So my mom starts crying. I start crying because, like, I'm going through something that I don't know what I'm going through, and I'm going to be by myself. So I get into the little emergency room that they put you in until an actual vacant room becomes available. They put me on drugs because I wasn't hysterical, but I needed to calm down. Like, yeah, I just needed to calm down. I was in pain, and I kept telling them I was in pain, so I think that's why I was like, and I was on my period, so I was a little snappy, like, y'all bringing these drugs or not? They made me pee in a cup. The cup was pretty much blood. And then after that, I just waited. The nurse came in, she helped me change because I was legit bleeding that much, that I needed help. I was trying to change by myself, but y'all, I couldn't. They put like multiple mats on my hospital bed because I was literally bleeding through it. And then after that, they made me do, I forgot what those things are called. Wow, medical student. They made me take iodine, and then they made me go through that machine to do a full like scan of the body. I don't know why it's not. I'll put it on the screen because I'm not remembering the word. I'm really mad that I'm not remembering the word. I'm disappointed in myself. But they made me do that, and then after that, I waited for the rest of the night until I got put into a room. So nothing was said to me yet. The only questions that the doctors and the nurse asked me was like what was going on. I told them I had Immuno Thrombocytopenia and all that stuff. So I had 2 IVs in my hand, girl, and I was still posting. So literally in the month of May, if you go back on my Instagram, you'll see that I posted every single day. Girl, I was in the hospital. That post for May 22nd, I was legit drugged up, 2 IVs in arms, literally typing away. Then they finally put me in my room. They made me change my clothes into the little gown, the hospital gown that you wear. So that specific night, the first night in the hospital I went, they finally got me my room. So when I got to a room, I see that there's windows, whatever. It never dawned on me that I was in ICU. I didn't hear them tell me I was in ICU, nothing. I finally got a room. That was my mindset. So when I got into my room, all the nurses was in my room and they were just looking at me crazy. And I didn't understand why they were looking at me crazy, but they were just looking at me crazy. The following day, the nurse was telling me, oh, every few hours you're going to get your blood drawn and this, that, because they had to monitor my platelet count. So the one the night before came back in the morning when all the more nurses came in my room and they were looking at my oxygen level, they were looking at my blood pressure, then they was looking at me confused, and I was looking at them and I was like, is everything okay? Still not knowing I'm in ICU. And they were like, yes, we're just confused as to why my blood pressure, perfect, oxygen level, 100, and my heart rate, normal. And they were like, we're just trying to understand how, everything looks fine and you have 0 platelets. So I look at the nurse and I'm like, excuse me? 0? So I think 0 pretty much means maybe you have 1,000 to 10,000 platelets left in your body. So I was like, okay. So she was like, the nurse, your personal nurse is going to monitor you. So if you need to use the bathroom, please make sure that you call a nurse. So I'm like, all right, cool. Still not, I don't want to say I wasn't taking things seriously, but I didn't know the seriousness of everything. Granted, I knew if I fell or if, but I don't know. I was just chilling. Like, I really just wanted to know what was going on with me. And once you tell me, let's figure out how we're going to fix it and let's keep it pushing. Like, that's the mindset that I was in the whole time. So after that, that morning, I had to use the bathroom. So I called the nurse, and this was like after breakfast time. So once I got up, the phone rings. So I go to the phone first before I go to the bathroom. When I got to the phone, girl, and the lady who I'm talking to is asking me about my meal for tomorrow. Mind you, I didn't think I was going to be in the hospital tomorrow, but I was like, well, if I'm going to be here, let me just let her know. While I'm telling her what I want, because she's telling me what's tomorrow's order going to be, I literally run out of breath. And, like, I just get dizzy. Like, out of nowhere. Like, split second, boom. 1, 2, 3. I felt the weakest I've ever felt in my life. And because I'm so stubborn, it's probably why I did not faint, honestly. I was trying to control, like, what's going on? So I finished the conversation with the lady out of breath. And then my nurse goes and gets one of those potty things that you sit on right there in the room. I didn't even make it to the bathroom. So I used the restroom. She helps me get back in the bed. And I was like out of energy. I was tired. I was done. Like, that was it. So I guess when that happened, they moved me to another room. That's when I found out I was in ICU. They're like, oh, I was in the cut where my first room was. So they moved me to another room. Literally all the nurses could see me. So I went into that room. They moved me into that room, and I was like, oh, do you guys know why they moved my room? And she was like, oh, we just want to monitor you better or whatever. That same day, my mom comes, and she's like, yeah, you're in ICU. I'm where? So, like, when you think of ICU, you just think, oh my God, there's a possibility that I'm going to die. So, yes, girl. But it's crazy enough. It still didn't click then that I was in ICU. So after the whole thing happened where I almost fainted, they ordered a blood transfusion because I had lost too much blood by that time, and they ordered 2 platelet transfusions. So I got that. They drew my blood, found out what blood type I was. I am AB. And the following day, so we're on day 3, is when I got the transfusions and all that stuff. I was super nervous before the transfusion because, when you study medical stuff, like, things more in detail. So I was like, what if my body rejects the blood? What if this? Girl. So they had to give me, I forgot what they gave me, but they gave me something to calm down. Because that was the only time in the hospital that, like, my heart rate went up that high. And then after that, I just was chilling. After the 3rd day, I was in the hospital for another 3 days. I had treatment. I think it's called, IVG. Don't quote me on that. I'll put it on the screen because I don't remember what it's called. But I had a treatment that I had to take that also helped me get my platelet count back up and everything. So after that, they put me back on prednisone. I did the treatments. I blew up. I went in there skinny and I came out with the biggest stomach. My cheeks were huge, and it was all from the medication that I took within that time frame. So I went home on the 6th day, and when I went home, I was bruised everywhere. I had a black eye. I had bruises all on my arm because they had to draw blood, and if my vein was not ready here, they went down, like they went on this area. My arms were tore up. I'll put pictures on the screen so y'all can see, but my arms were tore up, and I hated when I had to draw blood because it was like every few hours they would wake me up in the middle of the night. There was some nights I didn't go to sleep because I knew they was gonna wake me up out of my sleep. Okay, and it's already hard to fall asleep at the hospital because it's not a real bed. So yeah, all that happened. This is all in May, and then I went back to see my hematologist, and he slowly weaned me off of prednisone again. June 22nd, I was back in the hospital for the same thing. This time my platelet count didn't get to the lowest, which was probably 1,000 or literally around 0. But it was low. I think I was in the 16,000s. They'll say 16, but when they say 16, it means in the thousands. So that's what I thought when they said 0, they maybe meant 1,000 platelets left. So I went back into the hospital, same treatments and everything, and that's when my hematologist was like, you need to remove your spleen, because that's the only thing that makes sense that was attacking my platelets. I was producing healthy platelets and it was seen on all my labs. However, my spleen, your spleen is a part of your immune system, and it filters out your bad blood cells. And what it was doing was filtering out my good blood cells, which was my platelets, and wasn't allowing them to fully mature. So I would produce immature platelets and they wouldn't fully mature because they were already destroyed by the time that phase came. So everybody, like literally all my doctors, my gynecologist, my hematologist, my arthritis, all of my doctors that I had to see during this time frame were telling me, you need to get a splenectomy. So once I had, all these opinions of me getting my spleen removed, I was like, all right, bet. Let's do it. Let's get it done. But when you are in a Haitian household, surgery is like the devil, okay? I remember telling my mom, like, this is the option that we have. Let's go through with this. She was like, are you sure? And I was like, by that time, my mind was already set. Like, I'm ready to do the surgery. Let's get it done. And my mom was like, no. My dad was like, no. My brother, he was more so like, if it's gonna work. So what I was told by my hematologist more in detail for the splenectomy, normally people get a splenectomy when they get in a car accident, but my case was just very rare. And he was like, I just didn't see what my other alternative was except for me to keep going back to the hospital and being put on treatment that costs like $8,000 per treatment. And you stay bloated, you still can't do anything. During this whole time, I did not work out. I couldn't cut my own foods. I couldn't use my it's not a loofah, I forgot what it's called, my African scrub. I couldn't use that because all of it was just too abrasive for my skin. Like any little cut, girl, I was bleeding out like for a long time. So I was unable to do anything. I only went on walks, and even if I went on walks, I had to go with somebody so that if I fell, somebody was there, or if I tripped, whatever. So I made a decision to have the surgery, and I had to wait a whole month before I could even see the surgeon to talk to him prior to actually going through with the surgery. So we're in June. I waited a whole month to see the surgeon, and my splenectomy was scheduled for August 11th, and it happened on that day. Prior to that, I had to get 3 different what are those 3 different vaccines to prevent anything happening to me because I wasn't gonna have my spleen anymore. Yeah, so I finally seen the surgeon, and there was no space for me to be seen, but I needed to get my spleen taken out as soon as possible. Like, just waiting that whole month was already a stretch, because every week that I would go to the hospital to get my blood drawn to make sure I was, stable enough, it was dropping. So I think I was at like 80,000. I wasn't even at the range. So the range for platelets is, I believe, 140,000 to 450,000, I believe. And I was at 80,000. So, and it just kept trickling down. I did do something I was not supposed to do. I traveled during this time, COVID, baby. But I still did it. I think it was worth it. It was legit right before my surgery. And I was like, at that time, I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know if I was still going to be here. And I'm going to just be very honest. That sounds so weird to say that, but I didn't know if I was still going to be here. So I was like, if this is my only opportunity to go out and to go somewhere, I'm going to go. So I went to a proposal. You only get proposed to once. At least we like to pray that we only get proposed to once. So I just had to be there. So I went, and when I came back, I pretty much went into surgery. The recovery process was not as bad as I thought it was going to be. But during the whole getting my surgery and going through that part, it was very hard. I had to be brave for everybody else while scared. And I didn't know if I was going to wake up. I didn't know if I was going to still be here. And I didn't know if the surgery was going to help. And the reason why is because I remember my hematologist saying that 78% it works for them, and then the other percent it doesn't. So when he told me that, I was like, okay, let's pray that I'm a part of that 78%. After the surgery, they put me on medication. I believe it was, I don't know if it was supposed to be a same-day surgery. I don't remember them ever saying that. But the next day after my surgery, I was like, all right, did my platelet count go up? Nothing. So they made me stay again. So third day, did my platelet count go up? Nothing. So at this point, I was very discouraged. I felt like, dang, I'm that other percent that it didn't work for. So I'm like, what's gonna happen? I don't know what's gonna happen next. The surgeon that I had, Dr. Bauer in Palm Coast, Flagler County, by far the best surgeon best doctor, period, I've ever been around. His aura, his energy, pure, genuine, and he just cares about his patient. You don't find a lot of doctors who really truly care about their patients besides the check, but he really cared. He took his time, he did what he had to do, and every day I stayed after my surgery, he came to see me every single day. I want to say day 4, they put me on the IV medication again, and he came in the night before I got my blood drawn. So he came in to tell me the results, and he told me that my platelet count started going up. So he was like, it has to reach a certain number before he can let me leave the hospital. So I don't remember the number, but I was like, okay. I was just happy because it started to go up. After that, recovery going home went well. I didn't do anything for 6 weeks period because I was like, I want to be active as soon as that 6-week mark is done. So I was legit counting down. I started walking probably week 5 of recovery or week 4 of recovery. I started walking outside. I think my first walk was to the stop sign because y'all, I was waddling. Okay, I was legit waddling. And then after the stop sign was like around the whole street, or going from one stop sign to the other stop sign, and then it was going around the whole street, and then going back to being able to walk my mile. And looking back on it now, it's crazy. I could only walk like I would be out of breath after I got to the stop sign back to go home. And to see how far I've come from that is just so crazy. To even think that this happened. Oh, am I gonna get emotional? I hope not. Okay, moving forward. During the time that I was on bed rest, I was applying for jobs like crazy. Because my mindset was like, okay, we got medical bills to pay, we got stuff to do, baby. Because pretty much my life was on hold for a few months. And as soon as like I was home, I was legit applying for jobs. I was applying to every and anything you can think of. In my bed, drugged up, on painkillers. I was applying for jobs. And then I want to say end of October, beginning November, I ended up getting a job. I didn't want it. I'm not gonna lie to you. The pay was the lowest pay I've ever got. At like after graduating college. So I didn't want it, but I was like, this, at least I could do something. At least I could pay certain stuff off or whatever. So I took it. And it's one of those things where like when one thing works out, the whole door just opens and they just start coming. So after that, I had another interview. While I had that job, then I got offered another interview. Like, interviews was just, they was coming. I was like, dang, I had to just go through all of this just for this to happen. Like, it just didn't make sense to me. But I had interview after interview while having this new job. And then your girl got a job. I got the job, I want to say before my birthday. But for the job, you have to get located somewhere. And at that time, they didn't have somewhere to place me. So I was like, well, I'm just going to work here, at the current job that I was at until they're ready for me to move. And I got to choose, location. So, of course, Florida was in there. Texas was in there. And I think Atlanta, Georgia. I think those were like my three main places that I had put down. And your girl moved to Texas. I found out probably 2 days before Christmas that I was moving to Texas. And I was overwhelmed. I was freaking out. More so because by that time, I went every single week or every 2 weeks to get my blood drawn just to see how my platelet count was doing, and it would fluctuate. After my surgery, it spiked up probably to like 300,000, and then it started to trickle down. It went to like 289, and then it went down to, at one point it went down to 150. I started freaking out, y'all. But then it went back up. So I was told that it's gonna constantly fluctuate. So yeah, that's the other news. I moved. I am currently in Houston, Texas for the current job that I am in right now. I feel just honored and blessed. It's weird to think about, like, literally a year ago, I was in the hospital. A few months ago, I had surgery. And then a few months after the surgery, I picked up and moved. And it's crazy. I accepted the job, and then I had a doctor's appointment January 7th. Beginning of January, I had a doctor's appointment, and I told him I was moving. And I asked him, am I able to relocate? And he told me, you could do whatever you want to do. So I was like, oh. So that was like my okay of, all right, we really out here. We really about to clear it. Fast forward to today in terms of my health. I like as soon as I got my insurance for my job, I went looking for my doctors. Everything is normal. I still have my connective tissue disorder that's still not qualified as lupus. It's still just a connective tissue disorder. It's always like, I feel like I have one more level or something like that in order for it to be lupus, but it's not lupus. So I'm blessed in that area. But I still have my connective tissue disorder and I still take medication for it, but my dosage has gone down. So, because you know, Haitians, we don't like medication, okay? And the only reason why I went down is because when I moved to Texas, I was running out. I was taking 2 a day, and I started running out of it, and I didn't find my doctor yet, so I started taking 1, and nothing happened to me when I took 1. So my rheumatologist was like, "We're gonna leave you at the 1." So I was like, "Okay." That's the only medication I take. In terms of my platelets, I believe I had blood drawn like a week ago. I haven't looked at those results, but the results prior to that, they were at 350, 350,000 platelets. So that's really good. That's actually the highest they've ever been. I'm eating well. I'm doing well. I'm working out like normal. The only thing is, it's harder to lose the weight now. Like I was small, and then I gained all that weight. So to lose it is hard. I've been very hard on myself, but I have to remember to be kind to myself at the same time. And I'm back on YouTube. I'm praying to be as consistent as I was prior to having a job. I know that that's extremely hard because your girl be tired. Okay, when I get my days off, I just want to stay in my bed. Don't talk to me. Don't call me. Don't even look at me. I need a moment. Okay. But I just feel blessed. I feel good. And that literally is my story. It was very long-winded. I apologize. But yeah, God is good. He literally, like, to sum up my story, I was moving too fast. I was feeling like the world was passing me by. I'm about to turn 30. I don't have a job. Like, I was trying to make something shake for me before I hit 30. And I turned 30 back in December. And at that time, like, I really enjoy content creating and doing all of that. So I knew for me, this is my passion. This is what I want to do. Let's go hard in the paint. And that's what I was doing. And while doing it, I was sick. Obviously, I didn't let anybody or any of y'all know. But my thought process was like, we're just going to keep pushing through this. And when I did get sick, I had to stop because health is wealth. And it's so crazy how God was like, this is going to interrupt your life for the time being because I need you to slow down. And I was not hearing him. He probably was talking to me, but I was not listening. So he had to slow me down. So he cut everything off. Skincare, done. Working out, done. Like, I couldn't do any of the things that I really enjoyed. And it was because he was trying to get my attention to just slow down, be patient with my progress, with my process. Because literally after everything happened, everything just started like falling into place because I had to find, I had to hear him. And the crazy thing about all of this is during 2020, before actually getting sick, that is the strongest my relationship with God has ever been. And he made himself more present. Because literally in the hospital, I was at peace. You can ask my mom, my brother, like people who spoke to me. It was like I was not even in the hospital. I had nurses laughing. I had people laughing. For me, it was more so to get through it. Like, so yeah. And during that process, it was very hard mentally because that's when the whole George Floyd thing happened. And I didn't want to, like, well, this happened to me. Like, I didn't want to be that person. So I didn't say anything to my social media family till like later on, maybe a month, maybe 2 months passed before I even said anything. So mentally, I was all right. I cried a lot during that season just because of everything that was happening with Black Lives Matter and the people who were dying and things that were going on was just it was hard to deal with mentally. Like, I remember once the whole George Floyd thing happened while I was in the hospital, I didn't like it. I only went on social media to post my picture to finish my month out strong. But other than that, like, I was not on there. I don't think I could have dealt with what I was going through on top of the internet. It was just too sad for me. So yeah, that is my testimony. That is my journey. That is my story. 2020 was an eye-opening year for me. I look at life completely different because I almost lost my life. It's crazy to say that, but had I lost any more blood, I would not have been here. And I remember I didn't know I was gonna die until I got home, or that I almost died. I went to go use. I remember I went to go use the bathroom, and you know Haitians. My dad goes on the phone. Whoever he's talking to asked them about me, and then he was like, "Melissa presque mouri." Like, you know, like when Haitians say something, it's rough. So when he said that, I was like, dang, I almost died for real. Like, that's when it hit. So yeah, I take life very personal now. To those who were there for me through this whole, my support system, unmatched. Literally unfreaking matched. Like, I'm blessed in all aspects. For the people who were there for me then, who are there for me now, thank you so much. Gifts, kind words, just checking up on me, just making yourself present. Thank you. Like, y'all, it's crazy. I don't think I would have gotten through it without the support system that I had. I think that's why everything was so seamless in terms of my recovery. But yeah, like, I got sick. I had surgery. I recovered. I moved. I got a job. I'm trying not to cry because it all happened within the span of a year. I didn't know what was gonna happen. I didn't know what was next. If I could have told you when I was going through that then, this would be the situation I'm in now. Like, what? Be on the lookout for more videos. I'm back. I'm back in full effect, okay? Keep me accountable because I want to be just as consistent as I was before. I was on a roll, baby, and I want to still keep that same energy. So keep me accountable in the comments. And that's it. Like, I'm excited to just be back. Just starting this video took forever, guys. I probably took 5 minutes just to get this together. But just when I started talking, it just felt natural again. It felt like home. It felt like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So that is it for this video. I hope that you guys feel better about being caught up in my life and what's been going on and what's taking place, and where I'm at. If you guys want more information on like Immuno Thrombocytopenia or my connective tissue disorder, just leave it down in the comment section. We can chat it up. We can talk about it. And that's it. I'm gonna leave y'all with this. If you think you're not gonna get through something, you're lying. Like, it's a joke. Like, you can get through literally anything if you change your mindset. And there were days that I got discouraged. There were days that I was sad, but I'm a fighter and I got through it, and I'm still, my life is not the same, but I'm healthy. I'm still here, and I know that my purpose has not been completed yet. Like, I haven't fulfilled my purpose yet because I'm still here. So I just encourage you, like, whatever it is that you're going through, like, you're gonna get through it. Like, you have no choice to get through it. unless you just choose to just give up. And that's not an option over here, okay? So that is it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for listening to me talk your head off, tell my story. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Please turn your post notifications on, because she coming with the videos, okay? We coming with the videos, okay? And that is it. I'll talk to you guys in my next video. Peace. It sounds so whack now. When I said it before, it sounded good, but now it sounds whack. So pretty much from the time, what is that noise? Is that a light? Y'all heard that? It stopped, but okay. So I remember, give me 1 second, cause baby. Okay, we back. I'm gonna try to be able to see this. Okay, I'm just